Alright, so we just had an episode of Star Citizen Live featuring one of the features coming with Alpha 4.10, the return of the Siege of Orison, not as a dynamic event, but as an actual mission people will be able to take whenever they want. It was also Oli's debut with Cloud Imperial Games, in what would be a dream job for most content creators out there, getting to help with video content, something that has been very underwhelming since the start of this year, despite the promise made by Jared Huckabee in January that we would have a weekly video content schedule. So, how did it go? Did Oli's debut live up to the expectations? Well, we are going to find out as we'll discuss the good, the bad, and the ugly of this latest episode of Star Citizen Live. Quick word on our giveaway. Thanks to our Patreon and YouTube members, this month I'm giving away a Shiv as well as a Basher together as a pack. All you have to do is to subscribe to the channel and comment to any videos posted this month. I'll give 25 entries on the wheel of names here for the people who do that. Automatic entries for Patreon and YouTube members. Good luck out there. So let's talk about the good, because there definitely were some highlights, and I would say that the Siege of Orison, as far as the aesthetics go, look fantastic. It feels dynamic, dangerous, and much more alive than previous mission locations, and that's really something that we need, I think. The variety of enemies and combat situations look promising, from snipers to dogs as well, so it definitely looked like a place that's going to be exciting if you are into FPS combat. I also think that the shuttle approach was excellent. Flying towards the platforms while explosions erupted all around immediately sold the scale of the mission and created a great cinematic introduction. There's also another feature that I wanted to highlight here is the medbed autosave, which I think is a great quality of life addition, because as very often we think that CIG does not really respect our time with Star Citizen and we're wasting a lot of time commuting or just going back to the very start. So if we can just get back to a medical bed nearby and continue the progress of the mission, I think that's going to make the whole process much more interesting, and people are going to be more likely to take part of the new Siege of Orison. Unfortunately, that is it for the good. I wish that there was more, but that's all that we're gonna get. Let's move on to the bad. And here I think that the live stream really lacked structure. This was the biggest issue here. So instead of feeling like a developer showcase, it felt like people were simply playing the game and chatting. And this was what they said it was going to be, but sometimes, it can be a bit more professional, but it was totally not the case. There were very few prepared discussion points. Questions were scattered throughout the stream, and there didn't seem to be much planning behind the presentation. Long stretches went by without any explanations of what the viewers were actually supposed to look at, and oddly enough here, Elliot often appeared to interact with the chat more than Oli, despite hosting being done by Oli. That was his job here. I think that the presenter should guide the audience throughout the experience, not simply be another player in the squad, and it really felt like Oli was just another player in the whole group. And unfortunately, we are going to talk about Oli a little bit more in the ugly part. Next, we'll talk about the fact that the devs failed to actually beat their own level. I mean, of course, everyone makes mistakes, but having having the developers here struggling with mechanics does not really inspire confidence. It raises an obvious question. Is the mission overtuned, or is this evidence that 4 players simply are not enough? When your own developers can't complete the content that they're showcasing, viewers of course wonder whether the balance needs another pass, and here this is definitely something that showed. Also, Jared did say that he sucks at the game during the live stream, which also I think is very weird, because isn't he playing the game, right? Jared has been here since the beginning. He's an original backer, that's how he started, and then eventually joined the company. He's supposed to be playing the game. I know he says it's his job, but still, it's supposed to be also a passion, and you're supposed I mean, people would expect you to play the game, and if you play the game, I mean, the same game for years and years and years ago, you don't suck anymore. Maybe you're average, but you don't suck. And the fact that they said that here speaks volume. I mean, I've never seen Jared play Star Citizen in his own live stream on Twitch, for example, so maybe he doesn't play the game. Anyway, that is not the topic here. Let's go back to instancing, which feels like a compromise, and it's still, of course, one of the most controversial topics of this 4.10 branch here. Many backers, of course, supported Star Citizen because of the original vision of the seamless universe. Seeing gameplay divided into small 4-player instances feel like a significant departure from that dream. Even if it's technically necessary today, it doesn't feel like the direction many people originally pledged for. And limiting these experiences to only 4-player makes that feel even less ambitious than many expected. We're talking about Elite Dangerous scale here. That's what Elite Dangerous does, and I don't think that we should be copying Elite Dangerous. I think it's Elite Dangerous that should be copying Star Citizen. Issues plaguing the PU are still there, including, of course, desync and NPCs feeling like they have auto-aim. So even with instancing, these issues are remaining, and that is also concerning. There were also a couple of small immersion breakers that I noticed. For example, one of them that stood out was when the Northrok mission giver was showing up here, and it didn't look polished at all. The NPCs delivering that speech was not animated, it was just a still picture here. I know it's a small detail, but moments like that stand out in a game that prides itself in immersion. So that was for the bad. Now let's move on to the ugly here. And I think that Oli never really took control of the show. It's not about personality, it's about the role. Oli was supposed to be the live stream host. Jared made it clear that he was handling the show to him. And as a host, you're supposed to keep the audience engaged, explain what is happening, manage the pacing, involve the chat, and make sure the developers can focus on demonstrating the game. Instead, Oli felt, I would say, like a 5th player, because Jared was also over there, right? And he didn't seem like he was making the calls at all. Especially, I would say that the opening 10 minutes were especially awkward. There wasn't really anyone clearly steering the presentation, introducing topics, or maintaining momentum. And by the end of the stream, the lack of energy became even more noticeable. Oli looked uncomfortable rather than enthusiastic, and the whole ending felt flat.
Jared, you say goodbye, or you say goodbye? No? Okay. Luke?
Yeah, thanks so much for joining us. Oh, I will turn around. Hey.
Hammer 2, Luke.
Thank you so much for joining us. I think it was really great that we got to share this experience with you guys and kind of show the things that we've been cooking up over the last couple months.
I feel the most awkward moment came when Jared effectively had to remind him to wrap things up.
Right time, guys.
Yeah. Oh, right, fair enough. We lost.
Wow.
So, we're at time. It's your show. Wrap it up.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Now that looked really bad. Seeing another presenter prompt the host to do the hosting was uncomfortable to watch and left the stream ending on an oddly deflated note. For a position that so many passionate community members would love to have, it's difficult not to expect more enthusiasm, preparation, and presence. Oli definitely needs to step up his game. One last thing, I think that the transition into the instance may not be technically called a loading screen, but from a player perspective, the experience is basically the same. You're waiting while another area loads before you can continue playing. This is exactly what the devs were saying. It's like, it's loading, and it's a loading screen, even though it's not, but it's exactly the same thing. Whether it's branded as streaming, instancing, or server transfer, players will judge it by how it feels and not the underlying technology. So there we have it. These are my thoughts about the last episode of Star Citizen Live. It was not a good one, guys. It definitely was not. If we get to see Oli again, I really hope that he is going to bring more energy, more enthusiasm, just show that he's happy to be there. At least do that, right? And have definitely more presence and show that he's the one who is handling the show and that Jared doesn't need to grab him by the hand, which is basically literally what happened here. So yeah, let's wish him the best and hopefully it's gonna be better next time, if there's a next time. That's all for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. As always, a big shout out to my Patreon and YouTube members. Really helps the channel a lot to keep the light on. Videos like these, you know, that's why I'm blacklisted. I never have any giveaways. I'm definitely not invited to Manchester for the Squadron 42 showcase. So you guys are really helping me continue making content. Have a great day. I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.